Season 10 is finally here. A ton of changes to Legends, a decimated World's Edge map, and a new legend? That means it's time for a new tier list. What's going on, guys? It's Valued, and this video is going to cut through all the patch notes and make sure you know what legends to play right off the rip in Season 10. Now, I know you guys got matches to play, so let's get right into it. Remaining on the top after not receiving any changes for Season 10, we have Gibraltar. The developers haven't touched our favorite defensive legend, and he remains at the top of the list due to his sheer strength in his ability. Between his bubble protecting his teammates, his gun shield protecting him, and the strength of his ultimate in the common chokes of World's Edge, Gibby's too strong to not be in the S tier. And guys, if you used him in Season 9 and you found success, well, you can feel confident bringing him back into Season 10 right away. And joining Gibby in the S tier, we have another classic power pick, Wraith. While she might struggle a bit on wide open maps like Olympus in the second half of Season 9, she's back in her territory here in Season 10. Wraith is strong when she has lots of good opportunities throughout a match to get good quality portal placement, and World's Edge gives her just that. With a ton of obstacles and dense areas for her to lose enemies as she dives in and out of the void, World's Edge is one of Wraith's best maps. And even with a few of the POIs getting decimated, Wraith has the perfect mix of survivability and team mobility to dominate this split. And rounding out our S tier, we have the stylish new recon addition to the game, Seer. If you manage to get your hands on him, you know just why we have a new pick like him high on the list. Almost like a Bloodhound Krypto hybrid, Seer has so much power packed into his kit. His passive, Heartseeker, allows him to sense enemies through walls when ADSing, allowing him to sense enemies pushing or check nearby buildings. This is essentially a much better Bloodhound passive. His tactical ability, Focus of Attention, allows Seer to send a blast that goes through any wall, revealing enemies and their health bars, as well as interrupting any action. This ability is insane, acting as a good initiation tool to get info on your enemies, or, better yet, hunt them down when you know they're low. And finally, his ultimate, Exhibit. It creates a large dome that reveals enemies moving or firing within it. Overall, Seer's abilities are incredibly powerful, and once players get some reps on him, he'll likely become a go-to recon character, unless the nerf hammer finds him first. But in the meantime, it's going to take a while for players to learn to play against him. And with many of his abilities being large and having fresh animations, getting good on him early will really reward you while you're catching players off guard. While he may be unproven, Seer is clearly a top pick on release. And starting off our A tier, we have the surveillance expert himself, Krypto. While Seer may be the hot new thing, Krypto's been a power pick for some time in the right hands. With ranked play rotating back to World's Edge and Krypto not receiving any nerfs, he comfortably finds himself in the A tier. This is a pick that rewards the player for having a lot of time and expertise practicing him. And in the right hands, he could even find himself in the S tier. And who knows, the devs even talked about making some updates to him for Season 10, but that didn't end up happening. But if he does get those quality of life changes later, he might be even stronger. While Seer is the hot topic right now, we could see a world where Krypto is the top dog, so don't sleep on him and get to practicing. Finding himself jumping up the list heavily for Season 10, we have Caustic. With big buffs to his tactical and ultimate, his gas is even more toxic than ever. These changes should make it much more punishing to get stuck in Caustic's gas, and the cooldown decreases give him much more flexibility throughout a match. Combine this with the season starting on World's Edge, one of Caustic's best maps, and we have one of the strongest defensive picks in the game. Seriously guys, if you've never tried out Caustic because he felt underwhelming or one-dimensional, it's worth giving him a shot. And if it's not your thing, well, be ready to put some respect on the gas and be mindful of that increasing damage over time. I know you guys were all waiting for him just as much as I was, and he might be a bit further down than you expected, but Octane finds himself just below Caustic in the A tier. Don't get me wrong, in the hands of a movement guru with great accuracy, Octane is still a strong S tier pick. However, with his stim and jump pad nerfs in Season 9, and the map rotating to one of his less desirable options, Octane is not the one-size-fits-all powerhouse that he used to be. There was a time where anyone who knew the controls could pick up Octane and make a difference, and while he's still a very strong pick, he's not dominating every single game anymore. His stim can cause you to get very low if you're using it too often, and the cooldown increase on his pad has him launching at his enemies through the air a little bit less often. Not to mention that World's Edge seems to reward other playstyles a little bit better, and moving from Olympus to this map is in a way another nerf to Octane. But if you're experienced on Octane or you just like going fast, you'll do great in Season 10. Octane just isn't the must-have pick that he once was. Moving to a legend who is thankful for a map change and finds herself in the A tier, we have Valkyrie. Being able to soar through the air on command is a nice thing to have on World's Edge, especially when you consider the decimation on some of the POIs. Valkyrie has some very unique flight paths she can take on this map. With all the lava canals and cliffs, Valkyrie not only keeps herself from falling to her doom, but can also use these locations to her advantage, flying through them and surprising her enemies. And with her innate ability to take high ground using nothing but her passive, she has a huge advantage over other picks in her vertical mobility. Combine this with her ultimate relocating her entire team quickly, she's definitely a power pick here in Season 10. Rounding out our A tier, we have another legend who's benefiting from some major buffs at the beginning of this season. Horizon. While there was a slight nerf to her slow on her black hole, what's way more important is the buff to her tactical ability. Her gravity lift got a solid speed increase, allowing Horizon and her team to gain elevation faster, but not quite as fast as pre-nerf Horizon last season. Regardless, this speed increase is huge, as this ability is a big reason why Horizon is even strong in the first place. Being able to give her entire team quick access to high ground for a push or rotation can be a game changer, and it just became a whole lot faster. While World's Edge isn't her best map, Horizon doesn't really have a bad map. And with Octane and these super fast comps being less popular on World's Edge, Horizon players are going to have a whole lot more opportunity to land some big black hole plays. If you're looking for a good teamfighting legend that brings a nice touch of mobility to her squad, you can't go wrong with Horizon. And guys, speaking of good team fighting, after this video ends and you know where each legend has landed here in Season 10, then make sure to head over to ProGuides.com for some of the best coaching from some of the best players in the world. There's no better way to start your season off than a coaching session to help you master the best picks in the game. The link will be in the description below. Alright guys, back to the list. Our B tier starts off with a pick that was the biggest winner in the round of buffs for Season 10, and that is Fuse. The developers have decided they want Fuse to be a lot stronger, and oh man, did they do just that. His tactical ability, Knuckle Cluster, now lasts twice as long, and anyone caught in the middle of his ultimate is now revealed to Fuse and his team. This is not only going to add a ton of time to Fuse's ability to zone enemies, but being able to reveal enemies? Now that's pretty insane. And on top of this, they gave him a quick quality of life fix, allowing players to toggle his grenade launcher on his arm, giving you the option to actually throw his nades like every other legend. These buffs are massive. And when you add in the fact that Fuse can hold 2 nades per stack, allowing him to hang on to thermites to charge the new Rampage LMG without sacrificing much inventory space, Fuse could be a much higher pick than the B tier. Honestly though, with how poor his performance has been since release, we'll need to wait and see for sure, but he's definitely a strong pick and worthwhile in Season 10. A little further down the list than you might expect, we have Bloodhound finding themselves in the B tier. Look, I get it, Bloodhound has been the top dog forever, but with them gradually receiving nerfs in recent patches, Seer coming into the game, and Krypto being much better on World's Edge, Bloodhound has definitely dropped a little bit in priority. This isn't to say that they're not still insanely strong and worth playing, it's just that there's so many good recon picks right now, and for a long time, that wasn't the case. With Seer, Krypto, and Valkyrie all having access to survey beacons, the options have widened, and Bloodhound has only gotten weaker. Their scan isn't as reliable on World's Edge as Krypto's drone, or Seer's tactical, but if you're smart about its use and use your ultimate time wisely, you can still carry games with Bloodhound. But guys, similar to Octane, Bloodhound just isn't a must-have anymore, and that is a good thing. They're in a great balanced spot and will still be picked a ton, but won't be in every single squad like the old days. Next up, we have a powerful defensive pick that was rumored to be receiving some changes this season. However, Wattson finds herself the same as what she was at the end of Season 9. But we have a map change, and Wattson loves a good fight on World's Edge. It's probably for the best that Wattson wasn't buffed in Season 10 because she's already a very strong pick. and moving to arguably her strongest map. Wattson isn't the most popular pick, but she always seems to have a great win rate every single season. This is due to her having a high skill ceiling and a very particular way you have to play her. Also, her playstyle also fits very well into closing out games, especially on a dense map like World's Edge. And guys, the stats don't lie. If you learn Wattson and play her properly, she's one of the best legends in the game. The only reason she doesn't find herself higher on this list is her popularity and how particular her playstyle is. If you're looking for a strong pick that holds down the fort as good as any other legend in Season 10, then look no further than the Static Defender. Finishing off the B tier, we've got the rope robot himself, Pathfinder. While he isn't as flashy as any other legend, Pathfinder plays a very unique role in the game and has found himself in a nice balanced spot for quite some time now. Bringing team mobility with his ultimate and being able to use survey beacons is very unique, and World's Edge is a great map for him. His zipline and hookshot both have a ton of flexibility on this map, and he's much more viable here in Season 10 than he ever found himself in Season 9 on Olympus. Alright guys, moving down to the C tier, we're gonna start off strong with Bangalore. Look, Bang would be way higher on the list if it wasn't for how strong every other legend seems to be right now. Her kit is great, with great zoning tools in her smokes and her ult, and also double time, giving her some nice speed. However, Bangalore can easily mess up fights for her own team with poor smokes or poor ultimate use. And there are better options currently in a team setting. Still, she's stronger than most legends if you're looking to outplay in a 1v3, but weaker than most legends in a clean 3v3 fight unless you're a pro at her. Which, hey, if you are, you'll have no problem getting to high ranks the way that players like Shiv FPS do, so don't sweat it. Moving on, feeling the nerf stick ever so slightly here in Season 10, we have Revenant. With only his death totem giving the enemy a little bit more info and receiving some slight movement nerfs, Revenant still as strong as he was in Season 9. However, he's a very setup reliant legend, and he pairs really well with Octane, who shouldn't be so popular this season. Also, he can be really tough to pull off as a solo player, as you want your whole team on the same page to get really good timing and use of the totem. If you love the edgelord himself though, keep at it. But if you're looking for a strong team fight, then maybe try out one of the more proactive options higher up on the list. Closing out our C tier in fashion, we have the only two actual support legends, Lifeline and Loba. Both of these picks are strong because they help their team in very specific ways. Lifeline with her healing and a bit of looting, and Loba for purely looting. If your goal is to truly support your team with less of a focus on fighting and more of a focus on helping them loot up and stay alive, then these are the picks for you. However, with nerfs coming to Lifeline in Season 9, she has too big of an emphasis on being out of combat, leading her to be pretty tough to use properly in a heated battle. And as for Loba, while she does have her jump drive bracelet to help keep her safe, she really brings no damage or utility to the fight itself. No other legends can literally help your squad loot or revive them on the fly. But hey, give them a shot if you're really good at staying safe in fights and helping your team perform better by bolstering their strength and confidence. And for our D tier, we have Rampart and Mirage. Rampart is just way too slow with her abilities, and even then, she just doesn't have any upside. She will, however, get extra bullets in her mag with the new Rampage LMG, which is cool, but she still lacks enough power, utility, and most of all, mobility. Keep in mind though guys, she might be worth playing midway into the season when she gets her full rework. Mirage is sort of the opposite. He has a lot of trickery up his sleeve, which gives him the ability to be elusive fast, but he doesn't have any damage in his kit, and his only true utility lies in his distraction and some cool downed or revive mechanics. Both of these legends are viable, but you have to work a whole lot harder to receive similar results to the picks further up the list. Unless you guys already have a lot of hours on these picks, there are other options in the S, A, B, and even C tier that will make your games a whole lot easier. And that does it for our Season 10 tier list. There are so many strong legend options right now, especially after the recent rounds of buffs and swapping over to World's Edge. Seriously guys, most of these picks can be considered as strong options, with only a few towards the bottom needing a heightened level of experience to find success. Let us know down in the comments below who you're going to be playing this season. And if you were surprised by any of the placements, let me know down below. Anyway, it's been valued, and I'll see you guys in the dropship. Peace.